everyone. A very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all. Myself, Vaibhav. I welcome all of you to today's session of Visual JForex, in which we are going to discuss about the fractal indicator in this our series of getting all of you introduced to the various technical indicators which are available for developing the algorithms on the Visual JForex platform developed by the Dukascopy Bank SA. So here we get started for the day. Today is the Monday, a fresh day, a fresh week. I hope you will have a fabulous week ahead and a wonderful work schedule and a fruitful session ahead. Now coming to the indicators, here we will be considering the fractal. We have done the acceleration, deceleration oscillator, the alligator, awesome oscillator, and the BWMFI indicator so far, and now it's the turn of getting to know the fractal indicator, and then in coming sessions we will also consider the gator and the Williams star. Now it's the turn of the fractal. Fractal is a fairly simple indicator. It's good and it's fairly useful as well, and it's easy kind of, you say, the description and easy implementation also makes it fairly well to use, and a profitable algorithm can be made with it. Now if you consider the description, as you can see, this is an indicator which involves at least 5 candles, and these should be successive candles. So what we do, I think I will need the chart also for explaining this later, but first we consider this description. So you need 5 consecutive candles in which we take into account the highest or the lowest value. If you are looking at the maxima, you have to consider the high value. If you are looking at the minima, you have to consider the low value. And the basic requirement is that high value should be in the middle of the these 5 consecutive bars. That means 2 candles on each side should be having the lower value. Suppose if you are considering the high, then the first 2 values, the values prior to the middle value which is having a high, those prior highs should be less than the middle value, and then the next 2 candles should also have lower high than the middle candle. So here if we are going to consider this fractal which was formed on the today's chart 23rd 23 GMT 19 July. So here as you can see we have this high value, and the prior 2 candles have lower highs and the next 2 candles have lower highs, and similarly for the low value you need the minimum value to be less than the prior 2 candles, as well as it should be lower than the next 2 candles. So when we take any 5 successive bars, any successive candles, we have to consider the middle value, and we have to make sure that that value, either the high or the low, should be the extreme value, and then the next as well as the prior candle should have value which is not that extreme. So we have to use this fractal indicator in this manner. So I hope you got the point. And what this suggests when we are going to use on the chart, so when you see that a new fractal low has been formed or a new fractal high has been formed, it gives us a turnaround point. And when you see that prior as well as the successive candles are having a higher value, if we are considering the low value, then as you can see here This minimum was formed on 21st GMT of 19th July, so that is the today's session only. So we need this minimum value to make sure that the turnaround has happened. Earlier the value was going lower and lower, and then after these higher lows were formed, we got the point that the reversal has happened, and now the momentum is showing some signs of reversing. So in a similar manner we can use these minimums and these maximum values. But as I said, we have to be careful, and here we only take these values into account for comparison purposes. Of course, as you can see here, we might keep getting the successive fractals, and it can happen that simply because we are taking only 5 candles into consideration, after some time around, as has happened here and also happened here, after some time around, again the reversal happens, and again a new high or a new low is made, and in this case if we initiate the trade, then we might end up making loss instead of profit. So that is also the possibility. So you have to be careful and use other indicators with the in conjunction with the fractal. Now let us go into the technicalities, how we can customize this indicator. Suppose if we want the number of bars to be different, now we are taking under consideration this formation whenever these prior two bars and then successive two bars are satisfying our criterion. And instead of taking two, we can increase this combination, say 3 or 4 or 5. Suppose if we are taking the number of bars on each side to be 5, then we will have to consider the formation of 11 successive bars, and only when we will have that confirmation of 5 bars on each side to have the value. In case of minimum, the prior as well as successive candle should have the higher minimum value, and in case of a maximum, the prior and the successive 5 candles should have lower maximum value, and only after that we will have this confirmation, this fractal will be formed. And when we want to use this fractal value, we have to take the look back period of 5, as we have defined this requirement that at least 5 bars should be on the each side. So you can't really take the current candle value and see if it is forming a maxima or minima, because that's not how it works. We need to allow 5 candles to have passed when we are using this condition. In case we were to use 2 candles on each side, then we will need the shift value, that is the look back period of 2, and only then we will have this formation in place, which then can be utilized to do the comparison, to do the you can say the technical analysis, then which can be put in use on the Visual JForex platform. So here, now that we have decided to use this formation of 5 on the each side, we have to wait for 5 hours to pass till we get the confirmation. And then suppose if we have taken this formation, then after the new minimum or the new maximum has been made, you can place the order in vicinity of this minimum value or the market order. You can do it anyway. So here I will explain to you on the Visual JForex platform, its functionality, how we can utilize this. Here there is a short description of its technical functions, the fractal indicator. So you can, whenever you feel you need further clarity, you can simply check on this info section. Now we have to define this default instrument the euro USD is being taken in this case, which can be changed to any other instrument of your choice. Suppose we decide to use euro AUD, you can do that. Candle period can be anything. Now it is 10 minutes. Let us change it to say 4 hours. We can do that. We can use 10 seconds, 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, any of these, whichever is permissible. Now let us change these also to then 4 hours, as we are using the fractal values, fractal indicator on the 4 hourly time frame. So here you can see new fractal minimum and the maximums are forming as and when the conditions are being fulfilled. So we have these maximums and the minimums formed at various point in time on this chart, which are clearly visible here. Now if we are going to change the number of bars on each side, as I said, we are trying with the idea of using 5 bars on the each side. So you can do that. You can use different combinations, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, at least minimum of 2, not less than 2, and more than 2, any number which you deem fit. Then we have to match the number of shift as well, as we want the 5 bars to be on the each side. We have to make sure that equal number of look back period is used, as we have to go back in time to capture that hour's minima or the maximum value. Then you have these maximum and the minimums, which can be then compared to the other points in the parameters in the algorithm parameters, and then if those data points are as per our requirement, we can initiate the trade. Now here also on the upper side, or on you can say bid or the ask, you can define the fractals on both sides. So you can choose bid or you can choose ask. The price can be different, like you can choose the closing price, you can choose open price, high price, low price. So we will have different values, different time when the minimum and the maximum values will be recorded, depending on how we are going to choose these setting. Suppose if we use from chart, side is also used from chart, okay, and we want to use a different applied price, but as you can see here, it's not being provided. But on the Visual JForex platform, you can pretty much do that, and then the calculation will be done accordingly. Suppose if we are going for a high value, then I will explain to you on the chart itself. When we take the lowest value minimum, here we will have this minimum on this hour of 17 GMT, 16th of July. But if we do the minimum calculation as per the open value, then you will have the minimum value being forming on 21 GMT, 16th of July. If we do it on the closing basis, maybe this might be the same. And if we do the minimum value as per the high price, then I think again the minimum will shift to 21 GMT. So how you are using the applied price makes a lot of difference, and different data points will be taken into consideration while doing the calculation depending on the applied price. So you have to choose carefully which applied price you are going to use in the setup, and accordingly the calculations will be done, and then you can do comparison analysis, or you can use different sort of combinations with the fractal. So that's it from my side for today's session. If you have any query or any doubt regarding how to use fractal, you can write it in the comment section, and I would be more than happy to take the discussion forward. We have earlier used the fractal in our algorithm development. Maybe in coming days also, once the introduction part is over, again we will be revisiting back to some formation which will involve the use of fractals. So stay tuned for the further sessions, and see you again tomorrow. Have a fabulous day ahead. Goodbye.